everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tap House Talks, brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all the content that we produce. So check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. I am Ryno, and I am here today at Baseline Tap House in Disney's Hollywood Studios with some friends of mine. I have two guests for the very first time. It's Dan, it's Tony, the Pop Husbands.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
How are you?
Doing good.
Very good, very good. A full disclosure, before we started this, I knocked over half my beer onto the table, so we're starting off real good today. So anyway, cheers, guys. What are you drinking over there, Dan?
I forgot the name on it.
You had one job. You got the hazy little thing IPA, and what do you think about it?
It's pretty good.
Okay, you can say you don't like it because I did recommend it to you, but
I do like it because it's not bitter like the other one.
Yeah. And Tony, what did you get?
Oh, I got a nice little fruity lemonade.
Yes.
Yes.
See, the lemonade does not have the free refills, but the hibiscus soda does. But I remembered that after we went in there because I was like, I accidentally asked for the wrong one time for the refill, and I couldn't understand.
Sure.
And it was a long day, but they were very nice. So thank you guys for being on this with me. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about you. We've been friends for a little while now, and you know that I admire what you do on social media because you take the things you love and you kind of like, you know, you have fun with it and you create community with it and you do this stuff. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do? The Pop Husbands on Instagram.
Yeah. The Pop Husbands.
Well, let me ask you, when did it all start?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Back in 2018 is when we started dating.
Yeah.
And I was already into Funko Pops at that point. And then, like most people during the Pandemi Lovato, we figured out that we had a lot of time on our hands.
Yeah.
So we had all these figures sitting around us in our room, what we were stuck in, and we said, why don't we just take some photos of them?
Yeah.
And that's literally how the page started. He's the talent that takes the photos.
Yeah.
I'm more of the manager side of it. So
I like you posted a reel once where it was like how you did the photo and you did that thing with like the iPad behind it, which I thought was really cool. Like I just, you guys do it where it's like, it looks so professional and cool that I am so jealous because I love product photography. It's like a weird thing that I love product photography and I love food photography. And those are both so much harder to do than I think people ever give them credit for.
Big time.
But what's really cool is you guys also started doing those live streams that you do, like you had like a little, like a talk show. I don't mean to say little, I say little all the time. And I don't mean it in a demeaning way. I mean, those live streams you were doing on Instagram, which I know you're not doing them anymore, but I will peer pressure you to do them until the end of time. You had like a talk show going for a hot second.
Yeah, we did have a show called Pops and Tea for a hot second, and where we just got to invite a creator, like somebody else who also took pictures, and we got to spotlight their work and see what they were into and what they did and how it was different from what we do. And so it was nice to hear different perspectives and point of views, and that's always been our goal lately, has been to bring people together and spotlight different people, and people have done it for us in the past, so we want to pay it forward now that we're in a spot where we can.
And not necessarily from just the Funko community.
Yeah.
We have you.
Yeah.
You're like theme parks and YouTube.
Yeah.
We have Rafi, which is makeup and stuff. So
Lego creators, things like that.
Yeah, and it's cool, and I like that. I like how you take that sort of a thing and like, because the thing about like Funko, you know, and like Loungefly, I mean, Loungefly's owned by Funko, right? And is like, they do that thing where they make, you know, it's the same with like Box Lunch, Hot Topic, Her Universe, all these things that now have really embraced that sort of like living your favorite fandom out loud, you know, and I know that we all do influencer, whatever you want to call it. It's not, I hate the word influencer because it implies this sort of like level of whatever. And I was like, I think everybody who has a phone and a social media account is an influencer because you are literally influencing your friends, family, whoever looks at the photos, like nice outfit, nice thing, whatever. So it's like, I don't, you know, that's a whole nother topic, but like, but it is cool because we do a lot of that social media work with those companies, and it's, for me, I like it because it's like a prompt about being like, okay, go out there with your favorite thing. You know, like you've got this, we're going to send you this cool Disney sweatshirt. You know, we want you to be like creative with a reel or, you know, Instagram story or something like that. And I feel like they do really cool work of like bringing people together, and that you do that same sort of thing. Obviously not in a corporate setting, so there's no motive behind it. But I like it because you also had that section in there where you kind of are like, well, we go to the parks all the time. We're at the theme parks because you live locally here in Orlando, and no stranger to both Walt Disney World and Universal Studios. So got some history there. Yeah. And so I thought we could have a fun conversation just about our Disney favorites today.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
That sounds great to us.
See, that was a good segue, right?
Yeah.
That was a good segue. You're welcome.
Good.
I didn't even practice that. I did write it on a little piece of paper. I just wrote word thing, but I feel like I want to, okay, so super basic, and it's perfect because I didn't tell you guys till you got here. And Dan, you have your Donald Duck Loungefly with you. Because I was going to say, like, what's everybody's favorite, like, what are they called now? The Sensational Six?
Yeah, they better be, because my favorite is Daisy.
Oh, God, yeah. And look at that. You two are meant to be together. Donald and Daisy over here.
He's the Donald to my Daisy, But, yeah.
So are you that sassy, too?
I can be.
I'm more sassy than that.
Yeah, you're a little sassy.
See, I feel like I've always been partial to Goofy. He's the Reba of the group. He's the single dad working two jobs. Yeah, just trying to get one.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, so beyond those people, though, what do you think? Like when somebody says like, "What's your favorite Disney character?" What do you like? What comes to your mind? It doesn't have to be just one. We can talk about a bunch because, like, for me, I feel like like I love Nick Wilde, and sometimes I feel weird about saying like newer characters because you're like, oh, they haven't been around in our lives that long. I mean, I guess that movie's been out for like 4 or 5 years at this point, but I just like his attitude.
No, yeah, that makes sense for you.
And it checks out with your personality.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
I would say like one of my biggest ones is Miguel from Coco. It's one of my favorites. I love that movie.
God, if you want to be devastated, I know, emotional.
Cry.
Yeah.
And then Hercules has always been like a childhood one for me.
With Hercules, I feel like Hercules specific, or are you just saying in general?
Hercules in general. But before going specific, Meg was always like always the best character in that movie.
Yeah. Also, a grossly underrepresented property within the Walt Disney, not just Walt Disney World, in the Disney theme parks. I feel like.
Why we don't have a stage show with Disney, like with Hercules music?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
But you said too with like Meg, like I feel like I would love, especially in this, Meg is that like, she's like the Princess Leia of the Star Wars like princesses, or not of the Star Wars princesses, of the Disney princesses, where it's like it's very like independent, sarcastic, like that rough personality. But I love the what's the song she sings and she's like no.
Oh yeah, you want.
Really?
Oh my God.
Wow, your favorite. Okay. Well,
I'm in love.
And so here's the fun fact about me. I've seen Hercules once in my life.
Wow.
And Craig tried to put it on when we were on an Alaska cruise again, and I fell asleep. But I did enjoy what I was watching, and I was like, I got to give this movie a better shot. Because when I was a kid, I wasn't like in love with it. I think I was like, it was like a weird, the animation style was hard to lock in. But now I'm older, I'm like, I love the look of like Baby Pegasus.
Oh,
that's one of my favorites. Anytime he's around, like they had that Bigfoot plush of him that's like in the merch, and I'm always like, but I'll feel like such a fake if I get it.
I have like a Loungefly backpack with but it's a backpack, not like the.
Not like this.
Oh, it's the full size one, which they don't make
and
anymore.
It has Baby Pegasus and Baby Hercules all over it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's so cute. I do love Maleficent.
Okay, solid.
Like villains are a big thing for me.
The thing with Maleficent is it's like an auditory thing too. Like I love the listen well, and like every time you hear it, you're like, you get those like goosebumps too, and I'm like, yeah. And I love the coloring of that movie too. Like I love the neon green with the black and everything, and that's a good choice.
Yeah, she's about it.
Who else is your favorite?
Yeah. Aside from the villains, I would say Woody from Toy Story.
A Woody guy, huh?
Yeah.
See, I'm a Buzz Lightyear guy.
I'm a Buzz guy.
Yeah. And my friend Amber would fight us to the death on this, and because her whole thing with that is that Buzz never develops. That he's literally every movie the same thing. Because in the first movie he has that one arc, but then in the second movie they're like, oh, we got a new Buzz Lightyear and he does the same thing. And then the third movie they're like, well, now we have a Spanish Buzz Lightyear.
True.
And I was like, okay, but your trash sheriff left everybody in the fourth movie because he's, won't stand for his morals his whole life, was all Mr. Hypocrite in the end. And so, like, yeah, you can tell how I feel about the fourth Toy Story movie.
I don't remember if I mentioned it, but that's a hill I will die on. Toy Story 4, not necessary.
I wish it had never
Should have been
happened.
called Woody's Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Toy
Like a
Story 4.
spin-off.
Like, it should have been a spin-off.
Just separate, yeah. Like, let him
not part
go
of the
and
Toy
come back.
Story part.
Yeah, actually, that is a great point.
Should have been a spin-off.
The same way they did the Lightyear movie, which I did actually really enjoy.
we enjoyed
but it's
it too,
fine. Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, it was really
Like, I think that would have been a great idea. Boom. Okay, Disney, you can hire us.
Alright.
Yeah. I'm trying to. So obviously we talked about characters. So then, does that equate to those being your favorite Disney movies?
Ooh.
Okay, let me do this. This is how I do my category. When somebody says, "What's your favorite Disney movie?" I always go, "Okay, there's animated, Pixar, live action, and now you can pick
Oh,
Marvel and Star
fair.
Wars,
Okay.
right?"
Yeah.
I go by the studio.
Okay.
So I was like, so for me, I think like live action. I love Mary Poppins. That was like my growing up. Like there's like a video of me in like a diaper with it was like a 2x4 for some reason, and I'm like pretending it's an umbrella, and I would like make my brother be Mary or Bert depending on the scene, and I would like reenact the scenes. You know.
Okay.
How my mother? No, she knew. She knew. She knew. Sandy knew.
Live action. What's your...
I would say Beauty and the Beast. Or,
The live action one.
yeah. Or Cruella.
Cruella
is
is
a great movie.
you know what? Cruella is fantastic. Okay, so here's the thing about Cruella. I feel like Cruella could have been. It's a great. I really enjoy it. So my one nitpick is that I think it could have been a phenomenal movie had it not been a Disney movie, because I think the worst parts of that movie are the Disney parts of that movie, where it's like the dog with an eye patch
I know.
that can apparently communicate with humans better than most humans can communicate with each other. And I was like, yeah, sure. Also, the sidekick dog helps her, and then later she's like, skin them all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that movie, I loved it.
rewrote that. You saw that, right? Like, in that movie? Like, she doesn't kill the dogs.
Right. Well, I still like how that movie maintained where she was like, they were like, Dalmatians are terrible. Like,
Yeah.
because they're like, the hardest part to get over that is that like, they really started a movie with two Dalmatians murdering a mother. Like, and you're like, oh God. But the performances in that movie are just like,
So
the two
good.
Emmas are just phenomenal. I love that movie. That's a good one.
My live action go-
Wait,
Oh.
no.
Oh.
Because we're going to go back to the Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, sure.
It's good. I mean, I know Emma Watson can sing, but
does
she
make
did a good
Hermione.
job as well.
Which makes a good Hermione, which makes a good Belle.
Apart from the singing,
I don't even, okay.
which was really bad.
You know what? Never mind. Let's hear your live
Okay,
action.
going on to mine. Mine's Aladdin. I love Aladdin.
The live action
The
one.
live action Aladdin. I think they did a great job. The songs are good. I even think
You
the
love Pink
added
Ranger?
song- Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
Pink Ranger.
Yeah, she
I
was good.
had mixed emotions at first, but then watching the whole movie, I was like, oh, okay.
I
it makes
remember
sense.
like sitting in because I saw it in the Dolby Theater at Disney Springs that like opening weekend, and I remember being like, I'm very unexcited for this, except for like this had come out I think the year after Power Rangers come out, so I still was like, oh, Naomi Watts, like Pink Ranger, and I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked her in that movie, and she was doing well
Oh,
because
not
she was in
Naomi
like
Watts.
what?
Not Naomi Watts.
Not Naomi Watts.
I
That's
was
like
like,
21 grams.
yeah, that's,
Naomi Campbell, right?
No.
Nope. That's a.
That's
That's
even-
a.
that's a
That's
Oh
a
my
silver
God.
model. Naomi Scott.
It's Naomi Scott. There we are. We get there eventually. Thank God you got there before the people in the comments
There
did.
you go, there you
No, but you know, she was like Power Ranger, Charlie's Angels, and then you know this
Charlie's
thing,
Angels,
and I like her a lot, and I thought her like Speechless song was pretty good.
So good.
I remember sitting in that theater and being like, this movie's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
like,
it's so
it was
pretty.
really good,
It's
though.
so pretty
Yeah.
to watch. Like I could have done honestly without Will Smith. He wasn't a big draw for me, but I know he was for some people. But
I thought he
he
ended
did a
up
good
being
job
a
with
better
the role.
job, than I had expected. So it was good. But I'm curious to see if they'll ever make a second one. Because remember they said they were going to do that
they
like
canceled.
spin-off with like
I think
Ryan.
they stopped.
I think
now,
they canceled
yeah.
because of the whole
whole
thing.
I don't think he was supposed to be in it, though. I think it was supposed to be about that other prince. Well, I guess you'd have to have a genie if you're doing a Aladdin movie, yeah. But well, whatever. Anyway, what else did you say beside Aladdin? I was taken back by that.
that
You guys really love the live action era, huh? This like remake of the
Well-
classics. I'm not judging you.
Kinda.
Let the
You're
world
kinda
judge you.
judging me.
Are you though?
Yeah, you're kinda
Are you
judging.
too, though?
Well, that's okay.
That's up for the internet,
That's why
not for
Nick
me.
Wilde
That's their
works
job.
for you.
Yeah.
You'll see that in the comments.
Guys, listen, I liked that Lion King live action movie, and
No.
nobody did.
Yeah.
No, did not like it.
I don't like it better than the original, because guess what my favorite animated Disney movie is? The Lion King.
Mine too.
Yeah, I love it. It's Shakespeare, but with animals. But also, like, I don't know, it was like just growing up, it was like I love the music. I love the look of it. Like I love the colors of it. I love the score. When I was younger, I really liked like Matthew Broderick. I remember like getting way too into that 1998 Godzilla movie that nobody
I loved
liked.
that movie.
Okay, but I was like,
Loved it.
I had like the Taco Bell like cup thing on the side of my bed and everything. And like, so I watched every movie that Matthew Broderick was in, and then I was like, oh my god, did you know he's also Simba? And then obviously it was Jonathan Taylor Thomas, so that was a big deal, you know. And it's one of those movies where I'm just like, this movie's like perfect, like beginning to end. I just love it.
It's a great one.
Come on, Be Prepared. You like villains and like that whole sequence of Be Prepared.
I just can't wait to be king. How come you
Okay,
don't
wait.
Oh, that song, yeah.
Did you? Oh, I'm only bringing this up because I just learned this, and it's because I was listening to some like Disney favorites, like on a playlist I made on Spotify, and I happened to look at my phone while I was playing, and Be Prepared was playing, and it said Jeremy Irons, and then it also said Jim Cummings.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh,
I think
and he
Jeremy Irons
sings.
couldn't finish it. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like,
And I never heard it, but once you know it, you can hear it because Jim Cummings does the second verse, the second. It literally is like the next sentence, and there's like no pause in between. And I'm just like, this is wild that I had never like. Was this just an insert? Could he not sing? Like, and this is like, you know, this is a 30-year-old movie at this point, so it's just wild that it's happening. But whatever.
Oh, animated Hercules is always at the top of my list. But Mulan was always up there for me.
Oh God, I love Mulan
And
too.
Hunchback of Notre Dame, because those were like my 3 movies growing up that I was like
good one,
obsessed with.
Yeah. I also, again, like for me, Mulan, I feel like I remember, I didn't see it like in the movie theater. I remember like the VHS clamshell, and we got that, and watching that at my grandparents' house, and being like, oh my God, this movie, like I love the music. Again, I like love the animation style. I thought also that was like the height of Eddie Murphy. So you're like, Mushu's hilarious.
Mushu is funny.
But like, I find that is also the movie I always come back to, where just like, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. Like,
good quotable
you
things
know,
in there.
you missed and he was 3 feet in front of you. I love that movie. What did you guys think of the live action one?
Not a fan.
I feel like
It was pretty.
I wish it had been, if it was going to be different, I wish it had just been completely different. You know what I mean? I feel like Disney's afraid to kind of, and I get it. They're like, you know, because then they're like, well, who's going to watch
like
it?
the
You know?
changes that they made. So they got rid of Mushu.
Yes.
Yeah. But then they had a giant bird in it. So, because at
was like
first
a
they're like, well, we
phoenix or
can't have a big
something.
dragon. And I was like, but you had a person who turned into a bird?
Yeah.
Like, I would have accepted the dragon as
Yeah.
well.
And then the no Shang, because they like kind of divided his character up into 2 different characters. So
Also,
that
I
she
feel like
didn't
we
fall in
should
love
have a
with her
conversation
commander.
about Li Shang, who is our bisexual prince.
bisexual
Because,
icon.
you know, that whole thing where he's like, at the end, we're just like, whew.
I know.
You know,
Yeah.
like, you're like,
He
we
was in
don't
love
talk
with her
about it
either
enough.
way.
Yeah. And then there's also no music in that movie, so.
Yeah, no music in the live action.
And I know it's not really probably aging as well, but the To Be a Man, and I love the Matchmaker song. And,
yeah, they're so good.
I don't know. I just like the music too. That's a good one.
90s Disney was just where it was at.
Yeah, it really was. That was like that little era. But you know what one I've never seen from that time? And I don't really want to. I'm not interested in it. Tarzan.
Oh, the music though
The
is
music
so
is
good.
I know. I do
Yes.
love the like You'll Be in My Heart, and what's the other big one from that one?
Two Worlds is like the big
Yeah,
one.
Two Worlds. Yeah, because I was like, but I don't know. I just remember when they were like making it, and they're like, yeah, our inspiration is really, because that was that time in the United States where everything was all extreme sports, extreme skating was a
when
big
they
thing,
made that
right?
show here?
And Tarzan. Well, everybody says that show was great.
I heard it was great. I don't remember.
I never
any
see.
of
Yeah,
that.
I didn't see it. I didn't come to Hollywood Studios when I was a kid. We only went to Epcot or Magic Kingdom because my mom had heard MGM at that time was terrible, so she never brought us. So I didn't come till I was like 18, and it was only once, and I didn't go back there. And it was, you know. But okay, what's your favorite park?
Oh.
It can be any park in the world. It doesn't have to be here.
Well, but I mean,
We're here.
who does it better than Disney?
Have you only been to Walt Disney World?
Yeah.
I don't mean to say that
Of
so
the world
belittlingly.
parks?
Oh, you've
Disney.
only been? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the world parks, yes.
Yeah,
Only
of the world,
Disney World.
of planet Earth. Yes, we're talking the universe. Different story.
Sure.
And we have the same Disney favorite park.
Oh, you do?
We do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we do.
Should I guess?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sure.
I don't think it's this one. I think it's not Epcot. I don't think. Oh, I think
He's
you
better.
guys are Magic Kingdom people. Is it Epcot?
No.
Okay, it's Animal Kingdom, isn't it?
It's Animal
Yeah.
Kingdom.
Why Animal Kingdom?
It's a pretty park. I think they did a really good job with theming
Yeah.
that people don't notice.
Yeah.
Like I like that it's all very themed together. Safaris is a great
Oh, I love
addition.
I'd argue that Animal Kingdom is probably one of the most cohesive parks as a whole. Like, you know, so.
And Everest, I think, was such a good addition to that park. Like when it
Yeah,
opened.
that because I also had not really come to that park until it was my grad night when I was like, and I think it had. No, I'm not just open because I graduated high school in 2003, so it would have been open for like 5 years. But I remember. I don't remember it before Everest because when I moved here in 2007, Everest was like newer.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was,
like still.
just
So I'm like,
open,
yeah.
That was like the
that's
first
good.
park I've ever been to where it was like within a year of it opening, I went to that park because like I went as a kid.
That's cool.
Like so that's why it sticks with me. Too.
I don't think
Like,
I've ever
have a
done that with a
memory of
theme
it.
park.
So yeah, I think that's why it's like ingrained in me that I like
Yeah.
that one.
Well, you know the thing, there's a lot of it's like what you guys said. There's a lot of like subtlety there that I really like. I also feel like when a park, I know when you think of like food, a lot of people think like Epcot, but honestly I feel like Animal Kingdom takes a lot of chances with
Yeah.
their food items and like offerings and stuff. And there's some solid like restaurant and lounges and everything. Like I mean, I love Nomad Lounge, Tempting Tigress, favorite drink on property. I did a Tusker House dining thing like. This was like pre-pandemic. This was a while ago, but I remember that food in there was
Tusker House
was
good.
amazing.
Yeah, we went there for
We
like
went
breakfast.
down. Yeah.
And then obviously I think Setuli Canteen is also really good. That's what I'm like.
And I mean, I like the Night Blossom. I mean, it's quick service.
Yeah, yeah.
Just go in and grab the Night Blossom drink.
No, and that's the thing. They've got really cool, like interesting quick service options over
Yeah.
there. I'll allow it.
Even the one that's connected to like Yak and Yeti, that one's pretty good too. Like the quick service.
I have not eaten at
Oh,
Yak
yeah,
and
yeah,
Yeti.
yeah.
But I finally did go in and sit at the bar inside of there, and I had ahi tuna nachos.
Oh.
So, and
That sounds good.
anytime those are on a menu, I get that.
Okay.
So, I feel like for me lately, I've been like I would make an argument to be like, well, Magic Kingdom's the best park. And I would say, and then, and Animal Kingdom's beautiful. And I hated Hollywood Studios, I think, because I worked here for so long. And also when I worked here, I was like, this park is trash. I was like, there's nothing to do here, and you're charging people the same amount of money, but here we are now, years later, and I'm like,
There we are.
I spend my time here, and it's not just because of Baseline Tap House. Like I love Galaxy's Edge. I like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I know a lot of people love like Tower of Terror. It's not for me, but I like the theming of it, and I love the Hollywood feel. I don't know. It's one of those where I was like, is this my favorite park? Epcot is my least favorite park. That's what I'll say.
This is
my
my
least-
least favorite part.
This is my least
Well,
as well. But
wow. So happy you
in
could
our
join us here
defense-
today.
In our defense, I think my biggest thing is like the cohesive theming, because that's what we like about Animal Kingdom.
I
So,
agree.
like, that's what we don't like about this one.
And I would
Very
say,
hodgepodge, very
I would say
all
that
over
this and Epcot are on that same par of like having trouble with their. Because I was reading a thing about Epcot, with the gardens open now or whatever. They were like, none of the names make sense here anymore. Like World Showcase, they were like, that's it. The other ones are just like World Celebration. What? And they're like, why?
No.
Why? And the other one like Nature. And you're like, and I was like, yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was just me.
No, the center's Celebration,
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I know one is Discovery, right?
which I
Because
think is like the side that already existed.
because it had the aquarium and whatever.
No, I think that's the other side. I think Discovery is like
See?
Test Track, Mission Space.
You know what else is
Guardians.
stupid? Epcot's parking lot is dumb because
Oh,
they literally
they're
just
dumbest.
renamed all those things. And when you name a
They
parking lot,
did.
you should name it. You should have. First of all, you shouldn't have two characters from the same movie in there. Second of all, it should be different color signs, so you can say what color was the parking lot,
Exactly.
what number was your thing, what character, what movie. You shouldn't be like, well, it was Moana. You'd be like, well, that's either side. Well, it was green. Well, that's every parking lot. Oh,
True.
so
Right.
I don't understand that. I could. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just like. I don't know.
Also,
Epcot,
even
what are you
Wally.
doing?
When are they going to add a ride for them if they have a parking
I know
section?
they do.
Yeah. Also, and I love
Everybody
how
else
they're
has a
like,
ride.
oh yeah, Wally, obviously Epcot, and I was like, obviously that should be at Magic Kingdom in Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, no.
Sometimes I'm like, it's fine. Okay. Well, so we know the favorite park. Is your favorite ride at that park too?
Oh.
Because my favorite ride, well, I guess my favorite ride is at this park. I have two.
Okay, what's yours? You go first.
Well, I love Rise of the Resistance. I think whether you like Star Wars or not, I think it's like a great culmination of like Disney storytelling in terms of like attractions, because it has animatronics, practical effects, digital
It's
effects,
a good use
like
of the technology that they have. Yeah.
And I think it's like it is this like all of everything, and so I think that's the new bar to leap past at Disney.
That's fair.
So whether you like Star Wars or not, I think like arguably just looking at what that attraction delivers in terms of like storytelling and the adventure and everything, it's there. My other favorite one that's the Disney Hill I Will Die On, which I think will have to be another video I make where it's like the Disney Hills we die on, but is that I love Dinosaur. Because when I was a kid, and I still am afraid of heights, but I was afraid of heights, so I wouldn't do roller coasters or anything like that. And I feel like there should still be rides that are thrilling and exciting and have that element of danger without being a roller coaster. And I had never done a ride like Dinosaur where it was like that, where it wasn't a motion simulator or something. And I mean, technically Dinosaur is a motion simulator, but when people say motion simulators, they usually associate screens, but it doesn't need screens but like the Jeep is simulating the motion of a Jeep, and it's not really a Jeep. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I had somebody like mansplain that to me, and now I've mansplained it to all of you. So,
it's a great ride, and it scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's scary. It still scares me. What if that dinosaur just eats you?
Correct. Granted, now they've like lightened it up so you can see more.
I know, and I never realized that some of the scenes don't connect until like they were lightened up, and I was just like, oh, bare wall.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, one of those rides where you're like, the darker the better.
Correct.
But whatever.
How about you? What's your favorite ride?
It's a tough choice.
Disney ride?
Yeah, we're talking about Disney parks.
I mean, yeah. Well, we should do a Universal version of this show, like, because Spider-Man, like, I'm wearing all this. X-Men is both Disney and Universal, so I'm walking the line today.
So I would say Guardians is my favorite.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that like that turn when you go up and you like first like are into the big room. It's just that sensation of like, oh, I feel like I'm in space.
The song helps because like that Marvel theme, and it's like
rushes. Yeah, you get like so jazzed up,
and then all of a sudden you see the big projection. You're just like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's so good.
Everest is like a close second for me.
I like Everest. I feel like that's a good one. Because Everest is cool because it has that appearance of like. It, like I just said about being afraid of heights, but like you're climbing a mountain, but then also like you're in the mountain.
Yeah.
And like you're in that mountain for a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of elements.
And you don't see a lot of the ride.
Yeah. And that's what's cool is I feel like it's a surprise in that way where you think like if you're watching from the ground, you think it just like goes up and then comes out.
And then come down.
And you're like, whatever. But you're in there and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the age though where like I had a concussion when I was a kid, and I swear this is what's wrong with me, but like the backwards part feels like my brain is loose in my head, and it's starting to make me like sick. If I don't have Dramamine, I can't do it. But I will still say it's a good ride. Solid choice.
Great choice.
Okay. What about restaurants?
Oh.
Doesn't have to be sit down. Can be quick service, snack, food item. Can be whatever. Grab and go window. Like obviously, I love Baseline Tap House. Why else would I start this series?
True. Based on a video I saw on the Diz, you guys were not a fan. However, Liberty Tree Tavern is one of my top restaurants.
My experience wasn't great, but the feeling I have toward that restaurant still exists in my heart. I will agree with you.
One of my top restaurants.
It is one. If you were like, "Hey, I made a reservation," I'd be like, "Let's go."
Okay.
And it could be bad every time, and I'd probably still be like, "Let's go."
It's just it's comfort food.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that.
And honestly, for the amount you pay for what you get, I feel like it's
it's worth it. Yeah. Well, I haven't been to many restaurants, but that's a good one. And Steakhouse 71, it's also.
Oh, we did like Steakhouse.
But for like lunch, dinner, breakfast was okay.
Yeah, breakfast wasn't that great.
I did the lunch, and I did get sick afterwards, though. So I don't know what. Me and another person. So I was like, I don't know what was going on. I'm not blaming them if it was just a coincidence or something. But do you guys have a favorite like Disney snack or like food item? Like I love a Ronto wrap in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, that's fair.
I'd fight you. I'd say it's the best quick service item that you can get on property. But
I go with cookies and cream ice cream, like a Mickey.
Where?
Like the Mickey ice cream
Like a
sandwich.
Mickey ice
Oh, the sandwich? Yeah,
Yeah,
and you're
the
right. That
sandwich.
is far superior to the bar.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Anybody
Way
that
better
says the
than the
Mickey's
bar.
bar
Either
is
that or popcorn, because Disney popcorn hits
popcorn.
different.
there's just something about
It's
it.
different.
Yeah. It's like an itch that you need to scratch sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what I need?
It's
Just
so
like the
good.
giant box of the popcorn.
I know.
I think my go-to would be like the snack egg rolls at Magic Kingdom.
Ooh, that's a good one. I got to do those
I
again.
like that they switch them out too every once in a
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, right? Because they do like seasonal. Like sometimes it was like pizza, and then
think
one was like
that's a pizza.
cheeseburger.
Like a
Yeah,
pastrami and
that's why I'm like, I
something.
wanna try those again. So I'm like, okay,
Same.
favorite season
This one.
awards.
while.
I wrote Christmas or Halloween, but I feel like you could choose neither of those, and you could say like Festival of the Arts. Like, do you have a favorite thing that happens here?
Oh, that's
Are you, like a time of year where you're like, I'm really looking forward to that. Like I love Halloween here, but really I like Halloween at Universal Studios. So like I look forward to
Same.
Halloween in Orlando, like in Central Florida.
I think a Disney Christmas though is like it's
Yeah.
just the warm feeling.
Have you guys done
That's
the
the one.
Christmas party?
Not yet.
He had.
It's
You've done
been-
it before.
Sometime, yeah,
I've
at some
never done
point.
it before.
I don't think I've done it post-pandemic. So
Yeah, I've never done it at all.
I don't know if it's changed.
I think it's better now than it was. Like I did it once before I started with the Diz, and I remember being like, the Halloween party's way better. But I think where it's at now, I like it. Not more than the Halloween party, maybe, but like the weather is definitely on your side for this party versus the Halloween party. But like they have like a variety of cookies now, and now they're wrapped, and they didn't used to be wrapped, and so like you can put them in your bag, and like and there's more drink options and stuff. So
I'm more like emotionally attached to Disney at Christmas because that's when we would travel down. Like I grew up in New Jersey, so like we would come down when it was cooler and like when it was easier to take us out, like take me out of school, like which was like the beginning of December. So like we would always do the Christmas party, and it was just so much fun.
I never had come for the holidays. We always came because in Massachusetts we had like a weird 1 week off in February.
Oh,
Yeah, nobody else had it, so that's why my mom was like, "That's when we're going."
There you go.
So February, maybe April, like maybe for like an Easter break or something like that. But it was usually that like February area, and that was the. I don't know. That was so. I'd never seen any of the seasons or festivals or anything because literally it would come right when nothing was happening. So like it wasn't until I moved here, and so like I think for you having that soft spot for Halloween for Christmas, I think I have that for Halloween because I moved here in like September. So it was a very like that was kind of the first time where I was like, oh, these Mickey pumpkins are cool,
Yeah,
like you know.
it's
And
themed and-
I will say though, the Christmas, the Walt Disney like. I feel like that is the mark of me being like, it's time to get in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Especially now that it's really expanded a lot more to the other parks because at like your favorite park, they have the menagerie with the animal puppets and everything. And, you know, every park has like the great Christmas tree and stuff like that. So
the
it's like,
different Santas around the world. So that's like a fun little.
yes. And I went around Epcot because I was trying to film them the other day. And the only one that was telling a story was Japan. And their big thing in Japan is New Year's, and I was born January 1st. So I had never heard this story before, and I'm like sitting there and I was like, this is so cool. So they talk about having these like Daruma dolls. They're like Daruma. They're like these little dolls that like they're like a face, essentially, just like a head, and their eyes are just white. And they what you do is on New Year's Eve you like color in one of the pupils, and then you make a wish when you do that, or wish, and when that comes true during the year, you color in the other eye. So I obviously they did this, and I went in the gift shop, and I'm like, they've got to sell these in here, right? So I bought a whole bunch for a bunch of people for like New Year's because I was like, oh, this is so fun. But it's really cool. I do love that. Yeah.
So that's cool that we get to learn stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the grapes we do.
True. It's like a New Year's tradition.
I didn't know about the grapes until a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we do that.
I've learned about, I mean, I know you don't drink, but I've learned about where if you do it the night before, you put the grapes in like freeze or like soak them in champagne, they like,
Oh.
so then you get little boozy grapes.
Well,
So
if
if you
working, I'll
just
do
for
that.
this year, yeah. Okay, so before we wrap up, I just want to know, we talked about a lot of our Disney favorites. Is there something out there that you are like, I've always wanted to do? Like, what's on your bucket list of like Disney things? It can be Walt Disney World, it can be going around the park, whatever. Like for me, a big one that I got to do this year was, I always had it in my head where I was like, someday, and it's not even that elegant, I'm going to eat in Cinderella Castle.
Okay.
Like I wanted to be inside of the castle.
like-
and I was like,
that
so
would be good.
I did it this year and it was cool. And I was like, and I want to do it again, I want to do it at night because we did it like for a lunch. But I'm always like, there's that thing. That was like my thing for forever.
That's fair.
So now I'm like, I need a thing. Like,
Yeah, I think my biggest one is just go to Disneyland. I'm big
Love
with the Disney
Disneyland.
history, and I've never been. So like,
oh my God, you'll
to
love
be
it.
like where Walt was, like
Yeah.
his original thought, like that would be so cool. But
You'll feel it there. Also, you'll like it there because inside of the castle, they tell the story of Sleeping Beauty. So there's like all Maleficent is much better represented at Disneyland than she is
We
here.
have to go.
Yeah,
because it's Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Yeah.
yeah.
I would say a few things. We want to go to every single Disney parks in the world.
Yeah, I think
That's like
that's
a
more
bucket
a
list.
For sure.
couple year-
But I do want to go on a Disney cruise.
Okay. Yes.
That's one of my big things
Yeah.
Yeah. They're cool. Have you done a cruise at all?
ever. No,
Okay.
no.
I was like, it's really interesting. Like, I'm of two minds on like cruises. I've been very fortunate. The Alaska cruise I did was incredible. Like, incredible. Like, that's one of those like change your life kind of ones.
Yeah.
Like, the Caribbean one is great, but I feel like because we live in Orlando, you're always like, oh, great, more warm weather,
cool, it's
more
warm,
beaches, yeah. And you're like, enough, like, you know. And the Alaska one is like, wow, I'm in the like northwest,
Different,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, and like being on a Disney ship though while you're doing it is really cool because you still get all the shows and all this stuff. And
know.
I think you'd really like. I think you'd like a Disney
Looks
cruise,
fun.
yeah.
We have a friend that's in a Disney cruise right now. She keeps posting stuff, and I'm like, I wish I would.
I know. I didn't think I'm one of those people where it's just like I love the idea of a cruise because I like a couple years ago for work they invited us to do like one in Italy, not Disney, but it was a different company. But what's really cool is you're like, well, I'm in my hotel's moving with me. So you're like
cool.
every day we were in a new city in Italy,
That's
and it
cool.
was awesome. Yeah, it was like really cool. And so it wasn't a lot of time at sea, and I love that. But it was also like I've done a couple of Disney cruises, and like there's something really special because it is like it's very, and I know that Disney like prides themselves on it. It's like the creme de la creme of Disney, like the experience. So you're getting that like I mean, hello, you can order like room service any time of day. It's like
I mean, that's pretty.
I know.
yeah, and that Disney Island is really cool, Castaway Cay, and
I wanna go
I want to
there.
go to the new one too, the Lighthouse Point.
Looks
I
like
think
the
that's
one
like
they're
next year, the year after. I don't know.
What's on your bucket list for 20 or your goals?
You know what's the new one? You know, I don't know. I mean, I'll be in Disneyland. So I love Disneyland. I already realized like it came up really quick. I'll be there like 5 times next year because I'm doing a half marathon. I want to go to the Pride Night, and there's 2
nice.
Pride Nights they just announced. So I was like, well, I'm going to go to both. So I'm going in June. I'm going for D23 in August. And then I have a Power Rangers convention 2 weeks later, and I'm going to that. So I was like, well, I'll sneak over to Disney one more
Okay,
time.
while you're there.
So I was like, okay. And then, because that first day of the Power Rangers convention is also their first day of the Halloween celebration. So I was like, I'm going to do Oogie Boogie Bash, I think. And then so I'm like, okay, 4 trips to Disneyland. I'm a spoiled brat. I mean, I paid for it out of my pocket, so
yeah.
it's not like I'm like, that's what I choose. But I'd like to do an international park. Like, I want to do. Oh, thank you. My cards are flying away. I want to do. I think like Tokyo Disney would be like a bucket list. I also really want to go to Alani because I've never been to Hawaii and I want to go to Hawaii. Yeah.
Nice.
But like in Walt Disney, if there was something in like Walt Disney World, I mean that new Disney ship that's going to come online next year looks really cool. The Adventure Treasure. Yes, yeah. And I think that one looks cool. I want to do that.
You know what I want to do? The Disney Channel event.
Oh, the Disney Channel night? Yes.
That
Oh
looks
my God.
fun.
Okay, so thereafter, I did a
wanna go.
Star Wars After Hours event at Disneyland that I didn't like. And so I was like, oh, but then that Pride one came out, and that one was incredible. And I've heard like the Sweethearts Night that they do out there is great. So
Yeah,
I bet that Disney Channel, that they're going to like go
That
all
looks
out for that.
fun,
Yeah. And everyone, like, you could be in like a High School Musical
I know,
like,
like
it's like-
Hannah Montana. Like,
or like The Descendants or whatever. I mean, I've watched some Disney Channel movies, so whatever.
I'm High School Musical, Hannah Montana.
I'm Lizzie McGuire.
I was listening to Miley as I was coming in. It was I used to be young because I like to make myself real emotional
Yeah.
before I get out of my car. So, well, thanks guys
Love
for having
that
this
song.
conversation.
Of course. Thanks for
And then
inviting us.
again, just so we remember here at the end, where can we find you on the internet?
At the Pop Husbands on
Yes.
Instagram,
TikTok, Twitter.
Facebook,
And someday on YouTube, we'll get that talk show going on the Ampliverse.
That's true.
Yeah.
You have a few videos there already.
Yeah, you do, and I like them quite a bit. So I'm determined. Mark this video. I'm determined that someday we're going to make a game show together.
I
so
love that idea.
we plotted it out here at Bayside Tap House one time,
Yes.
and I'm still determined to make that happen. So, Well, thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching. If you are watching, or listening, listening and watching. If you are watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave comments, questions, concerns. If you're listening to this, please rate and review this podcast wherever you find it. I don't even know where this podcast gets published. I don't do that. Craig does that. So if you're listening to it, thanks.
We're thankful for Craig.
No, I do appreciate. Yes, very thankful for Craig during this time. But yes, thank you guys for doing this, and I'll see you next time with another Tap House Talks. Bye.